What's happening, people? Welcome to the Out of the Loop Patreon exclusive content. I basically filmed myself doing the mixing and mastering process of the track that you might have heard last night if you was in the live stream. And I also touched up the track a little bit, I think, just doing some slight adjustments to make it sound a bit better. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys helping me out and supporting me on Patreon. So this is how I kind of want to give back. Give you some more like exclusive content, I guess. I just want to let you know beforehand, I have a bad cough. There's something wrong with my chest, so I am coughing a little bit throughout the video, so I apologize for that. If you have any questions, then please let me know. I think you could just comment on this post. If you want me to show anything in particular, then let me know, and I'm happy to do that as well. So yeah, once again, thank you very much, guys, for supporting me. Let's jump into Ableton. So, let's listen to the track. So, if you watched the live stream last night... Sorry, I need some water. If you watched the live stream last night, you'll see that I probably got up to around this point. And then I added a second section today. I was going to video it, but I've kind of videoed I've filmed the creation of sounds within this section. The stuff I've done here is just kind of adding little like bells and whistles, and then I just turned the piano into an arpeggiator, but it's not really that interesting. All I've done is just changed it here. Maybe I can show you here. I turn on the ARP, which is built into my keyboard, and then I just turn it onto a certain sequence, so it just plays like a different pattern, which just mixes up this second half. I also added just some little piano kind of freestyling stuff. So yeah, I think the track's at a good point. I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe I might do a few little tweaks, like take some stuff out with the mixing, but we'll see. So let's have a listen from the track from the top. use this melody here. Sorry, I just want to add this in, but I'm going to need to copy this pattern. Ooh. Go up. Just mix it up a little bit. Cool, yeah, so I think that will be the last touch. Keep like doing little tweaks, but definitely helps here. There was something I was thinking while I was listening through. Yeah, this where it ends here. I don't know if it's right. So like. That's nicer. Yeah, this is a really nice drop. I feel like this could be better. I'm not sure how though. Maybe. It's nice. It's not like amazing. I think I'm gonna just do like a mix down now, see if that kind of makes things a bit tighter. To be honest, I have done a mix down as I've been going. As you can see, that obviously the volume levels are adjusted. I never wait until the end to mix. I always mix as I go. But I do like to do like another session now, just kind of final tweaks. And so that's what I'll do. I think the drums are sounding pretty good. Maybe we could make them a little bit crispier, add a little bit of saturation, like what's it called? Parallel saturation. I'm gonna use a Oxford Inflator, which is a saturator, and I'm going to push this all the way up and actually push this, take the clipping off so it goes past the clip. Okay, and then let's see, I'll add this in. So what I think I'll do is take off this mastering. And then we just want to make sure that things aren't louder than the kick, which they are right now. I need to limit my drums because I just punch them through. So I want the drums to be around 8. So I want them to be clear, but not too loud. So let's go to where there is, go to where the hats are playing. Just loop this section. Hats sound nice, to be honest. Maybe I don't need to. They're a little bit brighter. So this, I'm basically picking through which bits I want to stick out, like the snare, the bongos. I'm not going to make them all stick out. I want something to come through more. So as I pick through these frequencies, I can show you on a EQ. I'm essentially picking through these. Definitely should cut that down. So that's cleaning everything up. This looks a bit harsh. Tambourines usually have this really like harsh thing, but it doesn't sound too harsh. So what I'm doing is I'm boosting where I want, and then I'm cleaning up what I've boosted, basically. Or just like, as I've boosted things, I kind of need to make sure that there's nothing that's too painful. If I turn it up quite loud in my headphones, I don't want anything to be painful. This is too much. What I could do as well is add a sidechain compressor to these kind of constant playing things, so we get it to dip for the kick, but maybe just the top part of the kick. Nice. Definitely works. Is the bass the best it can be? Maybe I can send this bass to the saturator as well, so they all get saturated a little bit, which definitely adds, as you saturate things, it kind of like, it adds more harmonics basically, which adds more tone, but it's whether you want that tone or not. So let's see. It also adds volume, so you have to be careful. I don't want that, but I want... I think I'm going to limit the bass as well, or maybe use a compressor to just control the volume a bit. You could use any compressor. I'm just using this because I bought it recently, and I want the mono, so I'm just going to tame where it comes through a bit loud, so maybe like the higher notes will play a bit louder, push them down a bit and just equal it out. That's too much, see. I want it to be quite quick because the notes are quick. Just want to see what it would sound like if I opened up this bass. just gets muddy because there's this piano is playing quite low, so they're just clashing. Which reminds me, so I'm gonna just clean up all of this piano stuff. So I've grouped it all together beforehand. All the pianos and the arpeggiate, the glide thing. This could probably go in there as well. What's on here? Yeah, definitely. Or actually, when am I using this? Auto filter. At the drop. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this in there as well. So this is the strings. And I'll just change the color of this. Go in there. In fact, I'll just make everything the same color. It's easier. So we'll call this instruments. So I don't want to do too much group processing because I think they sound pretty good as they are. But I want to just cut the lows here. Now that bass will come through a lot more. I want some of these highs. They sound really nice. I'm actually going to boost this quite a lot. So boosting and boosting, but now things will be pretty loud in the instrument area, but it might not be a bad thing. But then I will just compress it. I'll use a glue compressor just so you guys can see. Same thing. When you use other compressors, they can add a bit of character. They have different, designs, and they can add warmth, or they can add subtle distortion or things like that, which I'm just trying to kind of like figuring out myself by using them, what they add. It could be a placebo thing where I'm like, oh yeah, it's making it sound a little bit nice or whatever. Maybe it's not, but I think it does. You can do a thing called a null test if you actually want to find out what your plugins are doing, which I probably should do at some point, but I'm not going to right now. Okay, so I'm going to compress these instruments a little bit. And I want the attack and release to be quite slow, because they're instruments that are, some of them are stabby, but there are some things that are quite long-winded, so I don't want to just cut them quickly. I think that's a good level. I think maybe this lady could come up a bit more. I'm just going to use I think everything sounds good, to be honest. I think the low end is really nice and punchy and warm. The instruments are nice and bright and clear. Vocals nice and clear. So now I'll do a little self master. I have a tiny bit of headroom left. Sorry, I just need to make sure I don't peak here. So I'm compressing, like quite heavily compressing, just anything that's coming through a bit much. Probably the kick because it's the loudest. I'm just knocking that down a little bit, and then I'm using Gullfoss, which is just like an intelligent EQ. Basically dips in areas that's needed, and then boosts in other areas. Essentially brightens the track up. Okay, so the vocal is too wide. This is good. Sorry, you can't hear me. So now the last thing I'd do is just check imagery in case I'm phasing. So if anything's too wide, if you have things like sine waves that cross over each other, they'll cancel each other out, so you lose sound. Also, if it's really wide, you kind of can't really hear that it come across in club systems, which I have actually tested myself. Even I work in a DJ in a restaurant bar, and they have quite a lot of mono systems dotted around. There's some stereo as well. And yeah, some tunes don't really come through as well, like some All Day I Dream kind of stuff, where it's very like floaty, like this kind of stuff. You can't hear like some of the pianos and things like that, so you kind of have to sacrifice that. But me personally, I'm starting to make a lot more music for kind of everyday life, but still like danceable, daytime party style kind of stuff, rather than deep, heavy club music. So I don't mind making that sacrifice and having my track quite wide. So yeah, now I'm just checking the imagery on the instruments, see if they're good, but they look good. I actually really like that as a solo. Wonder if I can do that somewhere. Just kind of like chilling everything down. Yeah, like maybe here. that's a nice little, I don't know what that is, but more bridge. Maybe it's a bit soon, but I don't know. It's kind of a lot of gaps in the groove. In fact, I'm just going to play it from here. So, but by the way, I would say that the mixing is done. Everything sounds good to me because I've done a lot of it along the way, which I highly recommend. Rather than just going, oh, I'll do that later. Try and make everything sound as good as it possibly can before you move on to the next thing, or at least like 80%. I kind of do things and think, well, I know I'm going to make the drums brighter. I know I'm going to make things a little bit clearer. I know I'm going to get rid of the low end of stuff like later on. But I'll try and make sure that each instrument is really like strong on its own before I move on. Sorry, I have something wrong with my chest. Maybe I have corona or something. Keep coughing. Sorry about that. But I really wanted to do this video today, so I have this track done because I've got some stuff I need to do over the next week or so. Okay, so I'm going to listen from here, see if it's a little bit too much taking out the drums so soon. And how loud are we? Yeah, cool. And so on the master, wow. Yeah, on the master now, I have pretty much everything I need. Have a hard compressor to catch any peaks. So anything that's jumping out a little bit too loud compared to everything else, just knocking it down. And then making up for that in volume. And essentially bringing up the volume of the track with this as well. And then another compressor here, and an imager which you saw, but that's more, I'm not actually doing anything with that. It's just for monitoring. I can take that off. And then we have another compressor here, and this is just to add character now. So it's still like catching some things, knocking them down a little bit, but it adds a little bit of extra character, as you'll hear. It actually just brightens the track up a little bit. It's every time I use this, it adds a little bit of brightness, but like a really nice brightness to drums and like all the other elements. So that's why I added that. And then this also adds brightness. When you add brightness, it just really creates a lot of clarity in a lot of your instruments. It really brings them out a lot more. And as long as you have like a nice tight low end, you can do that. You don't want a track that's just really in your face and bright. If you have like the low end to balance that out, I think it works really well. Let me just look at my spectrum, see if I'm actually close to visually what it should look like. Yeah, so this is good. I have this. Sorry. Yeah, I have this kind of kick valley here. This might need to chill, but not always. As long as it sounds nice, and this will be like the instruments or something. So maybe have a look, see if there's anything that's pushing through a little bit too much. This is really great to use for that. I'm going to actually put this at the end. So I'll boost it. I know that I use this for boosting certain frequencies, like making it clearer in certain areas. Compressor to catch anything peaking, and then this is to now to like try and push something down like that. So I'm going to make it dynamic, so it's not always pushing down that frequency, just so it could just be a case of turning this down a little bit. So one thing you might notice that I do, most of my channels, so they do have slight processing on. Most of my work's in the group processing, so how everything sounds together. I do little things on the channels, obviously, if there's something I'm like, okay, it needs to be compressed or whatever. But okay, I think that's it. So I'm gonna maybe just put a little limiter, really gentle limiting. To be fair, I don't want to squash anything because everything sounds good as it is. Set this at 1 dB. Oh. I don't want any gain reduction. Maybe I don't need this limiter. So now that's just getting my track up to the industry standard. See, that could be a little bit dangerous on a big system. So I'm just gonna So with Pro Q, yeah, you can do dynamic EQs where you just push this down, and it means it will push it down just when necessary, which means if there's other things in that area, they're not constantly being pushed down as well. Yeah, so typically for a master, you probably would expect to see no kind of peaks here. I would say typically, but for if you're making like tech house or maybe like hip hop, I don't know. Actually, I'm saying like rules and stuff, but I found that when I reference tracks that are quite melodic, when I've referenced like Lane 8's tracks and looked at his master, he will have these peaks in these melodic areas. Just every now and again, they come up and down, and then still have this like valley here. So that's what I don't mind having these peaks, because that's those beautiful like melodic elements coming through. If you push that down, you're gonna end up with less of a story or less emotional intent in your song, I think, because you won't be able to hear that, the music really coming through. In my opinion. Alright, so I think that's it. I don't really need to go much further. Maybe some saturation, but I don't think it's really necessary. We can just try it out. I don't know, actually. I don't think I really want to. Nah. Okay. So yeah, that's the mastering and mixing that I would typically do. So if I just flick through the channels real quick. So on the group processing, we have 2 EQs, a limiter, 3 EQs, 2 EQs, a compressor, a limiter, and an imager. Let's do a before and after. I wonder if I can do a before and after of everything. This will be interesting. So if I take off, group that together. The bass, I'll leave. Okay, so if I press this and 1, and then then click this, press 1. Okay, so now when I press 1, all my group processing will turn off. So let's go to a point in the track, like here. So this is with it on. And then let's do it off. And then with it on. So you'll hear like the piano is too deep with everything off. The drums have less groove, less punch. They don't sit as well together. The kick comes a lot clearer, I think because of the sidechain compression. And yeah, they come a bit brighter and clearer. So it definitely does help with all these things on. And they become louder as well. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Yeah, make sure you head over to Patreon, where I'm going to be giving out free Diva presets. I can show you some of them now, just to get you excited. So yeah, these will be free. Obviously, you pay for the Patreon, but Patreon's like £3 a month, which is not a lot. So yeah, you'll get. I'll be basically packaging all these presets that I've made over time, touching them up, making sure that they sound good. I can just pick some really nice. Ooh, it's loud. This is named the same, but it's different. This is what I just used in this track. Some crazy stuff. Yeah, so a lot to play around with, and you'll be getting them all for free as long as you subscribe. Not to the channel, to Patreon. Thank you guys. Catch you in the next video. Peace.